Welcome, everybody, to Spotlight 814, Erie's local theater podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Dolly, and I am here with one of the stars of Pretty Woman at the Warner Theater on tour right now. They'll be at the Warner Theater on January 8th and 9th. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. How are you today? Where are you at?
I am in Wichita, Kansas. It's this leg of the tour's opening night. So I'm doing well, excited, big day ahead of me, but happy to be here with you.
Yeah, that's great. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in theater.
Sure. So I'm from Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, outside Philadelphia. My dad actually grew up in Erie, so this is a bit of a not my hometown show, but I have a lot of family and such that I'll see when I'm performing with Pretty Woman there.
Awesome.
I started, oh gosh, I was like singing along to every movie, every musical possible for as long as I can remember. I'd like commandeer every play date or family event, like write, direct, costume, star in my own show. So after I kind of exhausted all of my playmates and everyone, my parents were like, maybe we should put her in dance. So I started in dance and theater classes and just got involved community theater, eventually at the professional level, of course, doing all of the shows and choirs and everything that I could have time for my middle school and high school, things like that. I went to Temple University in Philadelphia to get my BFA in musical theater, minor in dance. Graduated in 2022. I've been working professionally since, first in the Philadelphia area, and then I booked this tour, which opened Pretty Woman initially for my contract opened in 2023, and I've been on the road since, hit most of the US. We've also hit Japan, some of Canada. We're going to hit Mexico soon. So, yeah,
That's
been
awesome.
with Pretty Woman for a while. Yeah.
That's incredible. So for those who don't know anything about Pretty Woman, or the movie or the show, tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that and who you're playing. I know you're the ensemble and the understudy for Kit.
Yes.
S-
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the show and your character. And yeah,
Sure. So, Pretty Woman obviously is like a super famous movie, but I honestly hadn't seen it until I was in final callbacks for this production. But it's about two people who come from two very different worlds, who find each other and eventually fall in love. It's a feel good story with, for our musical version, lots of great songs and fun dancing and things like that. As a member of the ensemble, I support that storyline by being in all of those big musical numbers. We're doing things, we're doing a lot of like some more like street hip hop movement. Then we're doing some more held partnering, almost balletic movement. So in the ensemble, it's a lot of fun because I get to play with a bunch of different styles. I'm constantly changing my wig and costumes, so I look completely different throughout the 2.5 hour show. And then, yeah, I'm also an understudy for Kit DeLuca, who Vivian is the lead, the Julia Roberts role in Pretty Woman. Kit is her best friend and roommate, so she is kind of along for the ride as Vivian is uplifted from her humble beginnings to this amazing, very wealthy lifestyle. So Kit's a fun character. She's definitely an audience favorite because she's just silly and the funny best friend character.
yeah, you gotta love a funny best friend character. There,
Of course.
there's got to be one. So, what was your audition experience like for Pretty Woman? So, because you said you've been in it for almost 2 years now, right?
Yes, yeah. So I auditioned back in, oh goodness, May 2023. And so that was initially like I submitted myself and was brought in for Kit initially. So I sang her material, sang a song of my own, did a dance call, and then had a final callback the next week and heard the next day. So it was a
Great.
pretty quick process. Everybody had a bit of a slightly different process. Some people were called in for Ensemble, and then they ended up getting cast as Vivian, or so that's just an example. But
Yeah, yeah.
it was very interesting to hear everybody's different journeys, what you were called in for, and what you ended up being in the different rounds. Some people went through, and some people didn't. But for me, it was a pretty quick process. Yeah.
I know for some people it can take years. It's like you just never.
Yes. Yeah. It can be, especially with an original musical, it can be all
Yeah,
sorts of things. But for it was pretty quick, consistently for everybody here, which was nice. Nice for us, easier for the actors.
that's awesome. Uh, so
Yeah.
this is kind of a newer musical. Not many people know it. If they haven't seen it, on tour or when it was on a short stint on Broadway. But
Yes.
what's the music like, and What's your favorite song to perform in the show?
The music is it's by Jim Valance, Bryan Adams, so it is more like pop rock, but it has that like 80s, 90s feel, so it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I love doing we have 2 numbers that are very, very different, and they're back to back, so I'm quick changing in between them. The first one is called "Never Give Up on a Dream." It's more of like a hip hop, there's even like a little rap moment,
Nice.
and then we quick change. It's a full ensemble number, it's lots of fun, and then we hit our final pose, we run off stage, and we quick change into the opera, which has actual opera singing mixed in with, like, classic Bryan Adams, like, power ballad.
Yeah,
So it's a lot of different styles within like 5 minutes of each other. And for me, that's so much fun in the ensemble because we're doing things that are just polar opposites, but it really shows that range, like I said, that we get to do in the show. So it's a lot of fun to do.
yeah, absolutely. So when you go on as Kit, this question kind of throws some people sometimes. What do you love about the character, and then what do you not love about the character? Like, what
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's such a fun role. I feel like Kit is set up for the audience to love her. Like, she's so funny. She has some awesome songs, and I just think it's a lot of fun to do. Yeah, she's just such a lovable character. It's hard not to love her.
Yeah,
I would say at least the challenge as the performer doing that role is that Kit is very vocally demanding. Our principal Kits and all of our covers are absolutely outstanding, but it is a very challenging role. So for me, when I'm going on, there's always that's what's making me nervous because I know my lines will be funny, the audience will love it, but I'm like, oh gosh, if I have any like, scratch in my throat, I'm like, oh, let me have some extra tea. So that's definitely, I wouldn't say I dislike it because that's part of what makes the role so special and so fun. But that definitely for me is like the challenge, I guess.
sure. Yeah. Okay. And do you have any pre-show rituals?
Not necessarily. We come in, at half hour
Yeah.
normally. So come in, put my makeup on. A lot of the times in the girls' dressing room, we have a specific playlist. So sometimes if we need a pump up, we'll put on like a certain song or something silly that'll really get us going. I like to warm up my body too and make sure I'm staying flexible and active and ready to dance. I'm also dancing in like 6-inch heels. So checking in with that, making sure I'm feeling okay. But yeah, nothing too crazy.
All right. And here's another one that throws people sometimes.
Okay.
What's one thing you didn't know that you needed until you were on tour, and now you can't live without it?
Hmm. I'm really big on I always bring my Kindle everywhere, which
Mm,
also doubles as a sleep device because if I'm on the bus and I start reading, I fall asleep immediately.
yeah,
I also have a blanket that keeps me warm when we're on, like, a cold plane or a cold bus or something like that. I also have a digital camera that I had before tour, but now I'm like, it's a part of me.
it's your thing.
So yeah, so it's a lot of fun too, because 'cause we're going to a lot of really cool places and having a lot of really unique experiences, so having all of that documented on my digital camera is really, really cool. Like I said, I had that before, but now I bring it everywhere with me.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. And do you have any advice for younger people who are, involved in community theater or their college program and they're interested in taking the next step in their career?
Yeah, I think I would say to just continue to put yourself out there. You never know, like, what is I think it's important to never say, "Don't tell yourself no, let somebody else do that." For Pretty Woman, I wasn't expecting to book this at all. It was just I was submitting, and of course I'm gonna go audition because why not? Don't think through all the logistics. "Oh, I don't know if I wanna go on tour. I don't know if I wanna do this." If you're really young, it's just important to say yes and, as we're taught to do in improv and in theater class, and figure out all that other stuff later. Just put yourself out there. It's important to be auditioning and submitting for as many things as possible, and you never know what's gonna open the door for you, and even if it's something that maybe you thought you'd never do, maybe it's something that you'll find that you love. Not everybody knows if they'll be able to do touring. It is a very challenging lifestyle, but it's been one of the best things to ever happen to me and has opened opened me up as a performer and as a human. I've got to experience a lot of really cool things artistically and personally. So I would just say to just put yourself out there in every aspect and see what says yes to you rather than counting yourself out.
Yeah, no, I love that answer. That's great. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners?
Just
No?
thanks so much for listening, and I hope
Yeah.
you come see our show, and I'm on all the social medias if anyone wants to connect, and yeah,
Yeah, and so where can they find you on social media? Just Lauren Esser.
just at lauren.esser, yeah, and then I'll be in the show at the Warner Theater.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll see you on January 8th and 9th at the Warner Theater. Thank you so much, Lauren, and have
Thank you.
great shows today in Wichita. All
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon, Erie.
right. See ya.